Hi, everyone, and welcome back to our Bible study through each chapter of the Bible in 5 minutes. Today we are on Genesis chapter 6. This is episode number 6. If you want all the information that I am going to be covering in this video, you can get it in a free, downloadable, printable PDF form on our website at tobelikechrist.com. There's a link in the description. Also, if you're watching this sometime in the future, it's likely that there is a hard copy book out, and I'll put a link to Amazon down below where you can get that as well. Let's talk about the when, or the, I don't know, let's talk about something. Let's talk about the who, what, when, where, and why of this chapter, beginning with the when. When did the events of this chapter take place? Well, according to the genealogical record that we had in Genesis 5, God caused the earth to flood approximately 1,650 years after the world was created. And so we're going to talk about that global flood here in chapter 6. And so again, now, 1,650 years after the world was created. That's where we're picking up. In terms of our major characters here, the first one's a group of people. It's a lot of people, wicked people specifically. The earth was full of wickedness, corruption, and violence. That's what God tells us. Then we have Noah. Now, Noah was the son of Lamech, who we read about in chapter 5, and he was one of the few people on earth who honored God and tried to be holy. We also have Noah's wife. According to Jewish tradition, her name was Nama. Genesis chapter 4, verse 22. And then Noah's sons and their wives. They accompanied Noah on the ark during the flood, and they were saved along with him. In terms of where we are geographically speaking, well, this is kind of another unique chapter because the flood that we're going to talk about in this chapter was global. So this took place everywhere on earth. And now let's talk about our outline. Verses 1 through 7, the wickedness of the earth is described to us. So Genesis chapter 6 begins by telling us of a union between two groups, the sons of God and the daughters of men. The sons of God found the daughters of men to be very attractive, and they took them as their wives. And their offspring were known as the Nephilim, and they were described as, quote, mighty men who were of old, the men of renown. And you can see another reference to them in Numbers chapter 13, verse 33. Well, God was not pleased with the union of these two groups, and furthermore, he looked down at the world that he had created, and he saw that wickedness was spreading in the hearts of all humanity. The text tells us, quote, the wickedness of man was great, and every intention of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. We're told that the world was filled with violence and corruption, and God decided that he was going to wipe man and beast from the face of the earth. But he determined that he would allow them to remain alive for 120 additional years, the reason for which will be explained to us in the next section. And that is verses 8 through 22. Noah, the flood, and the ark. So one righteous man named Noah found favor in the eyes of God. And God told Noah that he had resolved to destroy all mankind, and he told him to construct an ark. The ark was to be made from a specific type of wood, the English translation of which is gopher wood, and it was to be covered with pitch. It was to be 300 cubits long. A cubit is roughly 18 inches, so 1.5 feet for us Americans, or roughly a half meter, I think, for the rest of the world. So it's 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits tall. And God planned to destroy mankind with a global flood of water. But the ark was designed to preserve Noah and his family. The ark was to be the salvation for the human species, but God also designed it to save the animal kingdom. Noah was told to gather pairs of every kind of animal and to put them on the ark with him. He was instructed to start gathering food for his family and for the animals. And Noah did exactly as the Lord commanded him. And so that's where chapter 6 leaves off. But there's more to this story in the upcoming chapters. And let's talk about an application before we close. Those who honor God are not forgotten by him. Although Noah's family made up a minuscule percentage of the world's population, their faithfulness didn't go unnoticed and unrecognized by God. Their devotion was recognized and it was rewarded. And know this, no follower of God is forgotten by the God that he or she worships. No matter how insignificant you are to other people, God sees your small light shining through the darkness.